afternoon from Fletchersfield, Markham for the home of the Ontario Rugby Union. We're here today to watch the McCormick Cup. This is the final. This is the mecca of all games of the McCormick Cup. Now these two teams that we've got on the field, Balmy Beach and the Yeomen, they have come through playing 6 playoff games to reach here to this afternoon. The factors for today, it's a beautiful mild day out here. The ground's in great condition with a northerly wind blowing. And with me in the booth is Mike Williams, the ex-Canadian rugby player. And Mike, you've coached fairly often here in Toronto, just retired, travelling the world, and I believe he's going to play in a guest appearance rugby match overseas. But what can you tell us about these two teams?
Well, these are probably two of the top 3 clubs for the last 15 years in Ontario rugby. There's no love lost between either side. They both play a rough, physical brand of rugby. They've got a lot of experienced players in their sides. They've known each other a long time. I think we can expect a pretty bruising style of rugby game today. Lindsay?
And here are the teams on the screen now, Mike.
Balmy Beach will be playing in solid blue with gold trim. Have a number of Ontario players, captained by Colin Wilson, Chip Wilson, who's been strong at scrum half for Ontario this year. A couple of other notable players is Scott Hendry, who's been playing hooker, who is traveled with Canada A to Europe this year. And we can see some of the players milling about on the field right now, getting ready for kickoff. Yeomen Rugby Football Club used to be called York Yeomen. Here you can see their team. Probably the most experienced, certainly the best player in there for the last 10 years is Billy Hansen, who's played for Canada, has made a sort of a rebirth into a rugby. It kept each year saying that it'd be last year, and this probably will not be now. Also captained by Senator Scott Schweitzer, who's played for Rugby Canada down in the Southeast Asia, who plays in the center. And now you can see them lining up on the field. Lindsay, the weather seems to be surprisingly good for the this time of year here.
Yes, I remember last year for this game that we were outside up on a lift freezing, and it's a beautiful mild day here. Good crowd. It's a very good crowd. The referee, of course, is Mr. David Steele. This will be his last game here in Ontario. David's moving out to Vancouver to further his career in refereeing. And so one of the top referees in Canada, David is, and he'll be ably assisted by Piers Higginson and also Mr. Chatlin on the sideline. The game will be away in a minute, and I think the first 15 minutes of this game, Mike, is going to be quite crucial for both sides.
Well, this is Cup rugby, and normally what everybody does is play a very careful, close style. You'll see a lot of kicking at the beginning, a lot of close-in plays, not a lot of open rugby to begin with, I suspect.
So we've got Balmy Beach to kick off. It's a good kick for the forwards to get under, and their hooker Henry got up there very quickly, lost the ball. A good run by the scrum half for Balmy Beach. Just piling in, Patricio, the scrum half for York. Oh, the ball's going anywhere. It comes out on the beach side, a bit of a run into the centres. Just players just settling down. Balmy Beach put the weight into the forwards, trying to tie the ball up. Referee asking the backs to stay back onside. It's coming out on the Yeoman side.
Head on a kicker, kick up. And 15.
Mr. Steele's going to come back for the offside.
There is a call for a late hit on the kicker, on the fullback who cleared the kick on against Balmy Beach, and the York Yeomen have a choice of taking the kick from where the ball landed or where the ball was kicked off from, and they chose, of course, to take it where it went out of touch.
So Hamilton finds touch and brings the Yeomen onto attack just inside the halfway line. Hamilton, of course, had a great game last year in the McCormick Cup, Mike.
He did indeed. He's big. He often plays fullback. He runs very hard, legs up high. He's very difficult to tackle.
And of course, in the line-out, you look for number 5 and number 4 in the line-out. This is where the ball should go. Tap back on the Yeoman side. He's driving it forward against the beach. Mr. Steele asking them to stay back. Good drive by Yeoman.
Okay.
Get it out, get it
That's
out!
tucked back by Yeoman, trying to get the ball back, just controlling it. Patricio, ball to the Hamilton. Yeoman on the attack inside the 22. Comes out to their number 8, Kanaskas. Penalty's been awarded to the Yeoman.
Okay, that Beach penalized for going over the top, as the referee said. York Yeomen have chosen to kick for goal for 3 points.
Got it, yeah.
So this is quite a handy kick, just inside the 22. Wind seems to have died down a bit. It was blowing pretty hard, so that could have been a factor. So it's Daniels for Yeoman to take this kick, just inside the 22.
No! Wide.
And it goes to the left of the post.
22.
So it's quite a handy kick. Could have put cemented points on the board there for Yeoman.
It's always a little deflating to forwards when you cause a penalty where you think you're going to get 3 points out of it and you don't get it. There's a fairly strong wind blowing from west to east across the pitch here, and it might have blown the kick a little wide.
So Chip Wilson with a long kick out from the 22. Puts it well down inside the Yeoman territory. Going back for it was Hamilton, and not a very good kick into touch. It gets them out of trouble as the Yeoman forwards all run back. Something the forwards don't like doing is running back after a kick.
Ball's here, Red. Hold
So we have the line out.
The gap again. Get it and keep it out the gap.
10 metres outside the Yeoman 22 with Beach on the attack. So in the middle of the line out, we've got Buckley and Torrance. Front of the line out.
Line Beach, closing the gap. Number 4, free kick. Yes, man.
The referee called a line-out infraction, which is an indirect penalty. You cannot kick for touch on that penalty.
He's offside. No, 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 no. Billy, Bill, give me it back.
So Yeoman setting the ball up. Just on the 10-metre line, out to Hamilton. Bit of a low kick for his left winger. Didn't find him. Beach come back by Campbell, a kick deep down inside their territory. But Yeoman on the attack, and quite safe Paggio puts the ball out at fullback.
Despite a bit of running at the beginning of the game, it's starting to settle back into a typical cup final game where the play is down along the touchline.
Spoiling the play.
So line out on the 10-metre line, just inside the Yeoman's half.
73, 39, 11.
So Torrance, number 5, on the Balmy Beach side. He'll be going for the ball, taps it, but taps it back on the Yeoman side. It's untidy ball for their scrum half, Perici. So Yeoman just on the 10-metre line. Untidy ball comes back. Beach forwards
High foot!
trying to get the ball, but Yeoman just pushing them back.
Keep it moving or lose it. Move it, move
Perici,
it.
the scrum half, York, asking for it. So quick hands out to Hamilton. And the referees
Ball down again. Stay on your feet.
referees penalise the Beach for going down.
He's on the wrap.
They must stay on their feet to play the ball. So Hamilton, the fly half for Yeoman to take the ball. And he finds touch just inside the Balmy Beach half.
Lindsay, this is the 9th game today at Fletcher's Fields. There's been a number of finals already. during the course of the afternoon. We'll let you know some of the results. The McCormick Cup Consolation Final that featured the Irish Canadians from Toronto and Brantford Rugby Football Club was won by the Irish Canadians quite handily, 33-10.
The ball again from the line out, comes back to Hamilton, has a bit of a run on the short side. Connects back into his forwards. They're going to set the ball up. Yeoman again. Petrucci, the scrum up, a little chip over the top. Gets in front, puts his forwards back on side. That was a good little chip, puts the pressure on Balmy Beach. They're going to come the short side to Hamilton again. Tosses the ball back inside, but no one there to help him.
Taking him on without the ball, penalty given.
It's a little bit of early defense on the part of the Beach there. Tackled the winger before he ever got the ball, which probably denied a try, so it's probably a worthwhile penalty.
Goal, please.
So Daniels again will have a shot. This is on the far touchline, just 5 metres in, just on the 22. This is quite a difficult kick with the wind blowing across. So Daniels will try to drift the ball in between the posts. He was unsuccessful on his first penalty, which was a wee bit more handier than this kick.
No, it's wide.
And he's just drifted it to the left of the posts again.
22.
So the Beach will bring the ball out to the 22 to commence play. So Chip Wilson, the Ontario scrum half. Drop kicks the ball out. It's taken by Christie. The flanker for Yeoman has a bit of a run of 5 metres, connects back inside to his forwards. They're trying to set the ball up. Gerberg in there. Comes back here. Hamilton tries to break through the tackle, but doesn't quite get there.
Number 2, obstruction on the man off the ball.
A lot of penalties in this game at this early stage, Mike.
I think David Steele wants to make sure that it doesn't get out of hand. He knows the reputation for both clubs.
Chip Wilson tries to put a low kick, but doesn't find touch. It wasn't a very good kick. But the winger for Macquarie, Terry Macquarie for Yeoman, tries to tidy up, but doesn't go very far at all.
It's set.
So Mr. Chatlin, the touch judge on this side of the field.
82.
Mr. Chatlin will be officiating in this game, assisting Mr. Steele. So the ball to be thrown in by Henry. The Beach throws at the front of the line out. Chip Wilson's trying to tidy up, and then it comes back to the fly half for Beach.
Knock on from the line, no advantage, scrum down, blue ball.
The referee brings it out for a scrum to tidy up the play.
The play was let run for a while there as David Steele gave advantage to the infraction in the line out, allowed Beach to try to make something of the play, and they weren't able to do that. The voice that you're hearing in the background is that of the referee.
See Beach getting pushed back off the ball. Taranarich from the Beach puts a high kick up. Naggio drops the ball and they're away, but the whistle's gone. We'll come back to the referee because there wasn't a try.
Knock on the tackle, red ball.
Referee signaling it was a knock on.
When he hit the ball, it was in the air, he hit it forward. Red ball.
That will be a Lindsay,
wait, balls away, stay up.
A play of some debate. The Beach player batted the ball in the air, then caught it, and it was called a knock on, which some fans will disagree with the fact that you adjust the ball in the air. You're allowed to do that. It's a question of how far forward you adjust it before you get it, before whether a knock on is called or not.
Yes, and of course the new rules that the scrum can't spin around the 90 degrees and bring them back. So Yeoman on defence, Hamilton finds touch.
Very tight definition of the knock-on rule by the referee there, which has denied the Beach a try.
So to line out just outside the 22 of Yeoman. Beach on the attack with the wind behind them. As you can see by the flag, the wind's blowing fairly strong. It's assisting the beach in this first half. Just from the front, the line out. Nobody's ball. Comes back. Out to Rich. Short ball. Links up to... Oh, Butler just went down in a very high tackle there. Referee.
Move away. Come on, come on. Thanks. Goal, please.
So Chip Wilson, the Ontario scrum half, very good player. We'll have a look at the replay, Mike, of this high tackle.
We'll see the replay of that high tackle in a second as the Beach get ready for the kick for goal. And here comes the dummy to the inside center, and then the center goes through, and the York outside center grasping to try to reach for the tackle, only could grab neck.
I think he's grown 2 inches since that tackle. So Chip Wilson to take this kick in the center of the field. Will be the first points on the board. The Beach with his wind behind him. Right foot kicker. Looks pretty good, and up go the flags. So the crowd will enjoy this. It's 3-2 Balmy Beach from a penalty by Chip Wilson.
It's one of the examples of having a good kicker. The first chance that Beach got to score, they scored. York have had actually a better the play so far, and yet are on the wrong side of the score.
So Yeomen to recommence.
Mine in the air, leave him alone.
On that play, John Christie went down, basically ignored where the ball was, dropped his shoulder, drove it into the Beach player. No respect to whoever was going to catch the ball, and has put him down on the ground.
That hurts.
Not a very good rugby play.
So we've got one of the Beach players injured on the ground.
The wind is in the game, I think.
One of the things that just happened recently over in England was Oxford University, of course, a couple of Canadian players playing in this match against Northampton. Oxford University 47 points to 13, just in from overseas, and Rees, the Canadian fly half, of course, Mike, playing in that game.
Well, there's a lot of Canadians playing in other countries these days. Several in France, several in Japan, and about 4 or 5 Canadian internationals the last couple of years have played in the UK. 3 now playing there. Norma Hadley, Canadian captain, a giant of a man, about 6'8", 300 pounds, is currently playing for the Wasps. Missed most of last year due to a broken leg. He's back in there. A special article on him in the Rugby World. He's getting a lot of press in the UK sports pages, both in the rugby magazines and in the regular press.
So a pick-up play after Chip Wilson took the penalty and put Balmy Beach on the attack again inside the Yeoman half. Run the middle line out, untidy ball, comes back on the Yeoman side. The scrum half. Perici tries to tidy up the ball. Daniels had to quickly get it back and act as scrum half for Yeoman.
On the thing.
It will come back for the infringement.
Back's offside, hind foot.
The referee today, Mr. Tony Still's mic'd for sound, and we can hear him with all his comments during the game.
It's an unusual, brave perhaps move on the part of a referee to wear a mic in this sport. It's not usually done. It's the first time I've seen it in Canada.
They're being very polite on the field at the moment with that mic on, which is good to see.
What you got, please?
Mr. Steele is a very polite individual.
So Yeoman throws the back of the line out, tapped back. Whistle
Number
goes
6,
again.
Closing right through the gap, no attempt at a jump. Free kick, you're right through, no jump.
What was that for, Mike?
The wing forward for the Beach went for the tap rather than for the ball, and got overreacted to the ball and got penalized for doing that.
So Daniels has a bit of a run for Yeoman, trying to set the ball up. For each of the scrum half, quick hands out to Hamilton. Hamilton again into his inside centre. Again, oh, bad hands, and the ball's been knocked on there by
Knock on, no
Yeoman.
advantage, blue scrum.
As in all sports, there are players who will run before they've caught the ball.
Wait.
So scrum to go down on the 22.
Bend in first. Engage.
Beach ball. Chip Wilson to feed the scrum. And Mr. Steele awards the penalty.
Too low. Keep it flat.
The wise old man, Billy Hansen, I think, got caught for pulling the scrum down on that one.
He didn't seem to complain as he ran back. He knew what he had done, Mike. So Wilson to take the penalty just inside the 22 for the Beach. And this is not a bad kick. Brings the Beach inside on the attack on the 10-metre line. So when Yeomen have been attacking, every time they've done this, the Beach have got away with a penalty just with Wilson's kicking. Has just brought them back, kept them out of trouble.
Well, the wind is blowing sort of diagonally across the pitch now, so it's solidly in the Beach's favor.
So from the middle line out, untidy ball comes back on the Yeoman side. Getting around is Barici to tidy it up. Petrucci, I should say, tidying the ball up. Held by the Yeoman.
Head stop. Red end, blue ball.
Neither side moving there.
Up easy. Bad time to lose.
So the referee had no hesitation just to blow it up and set the scrum down as attacker's ball, which is Balmy Beach.
This is the height we start. This is the height we keep. Wait, the ball's away. It's still away. Stay up. Stay up. Stay up.
Mr. Steele having a word with the front rows, asking them to keep up.
Stand up. Shut up. All right. Too far away. Let's get a bit closer then. If you can't sort it, I'm going to give the penalty. Sort it. Engage.
Ready, ready.
Put it in. Put it in.
Heard the referee. He doesn't want any trouble in the front rows. He wants to keep them up.
Play eyes. No, that's it. It's out. It's out.
So good break by the front row player for Yeoman. Yeoman spinning it wide onto their right winger, McCormick, but he's held up by the Balmy Beach defence.
Knock on, offside, penalty given, offside.
And Hamilton was penalised for offside.
It's a bit of a tough penalty. I don't think Hamilton knew who had knocked it on, and he just picked up a loose ball. In a knock-on situation, if a player on your own team picks it up and denies the other team an opportunity.
So Chip Wilson having a wee run just over the halfway line. Beach pouring in. That's that. Wilson again coming the blind side to his flanker. Rona looked like a bit of a forward pass, but Wilson's got the ball again. Tosses it back to Raver.
Knock on by Blue. Shut up.
A lot of knock-ons.
Knock on. Red ball.
Bit untidy play there. The Beach having a go.
Knock on by the winger.
Captain Colin Wilson knew where his player was, but I don't think his player was paying much attention to him, and he put it over shoulder pass, which right into his hands, but the player wasn't looking for the ball.
Bit of butterfingers, as they say. Tracy holding the ball, gets it back to Hamilton, decides to run out, which is quite dangerous, and he has got caught. So Beach on the attack inside the 22.
Take it up, it's top 10.
Every time the ball goes on the deck, it seems to get wrapped up, and Mr. David Steele has to blow the whistle for a scrum. So the scrum to go down inside the York 22. Beach on the attack. Wilson to feed the ball at scrum half. Yeoman putting the push on, trying to put the pressure on the Beach. Spinning the scrum.
Again. Still blue.
So every time the scrum moves around 90 degrees, the referee has to bring it back.
York Yeomen have considerably bigger pack, and they're making Beach pay for that.
Up, up, up. Back off, back off.
So a wee bit of trouble in the scrums there, Mike, at the moment. The referee's getting them back up to reset the scrum.
Your ass is the one coming out. If it goes down again and your ass is out, I'm going to penalise you.
Cord Young's having a lot of trouble dealing with Bill Hansen right now.
So Chip Wilson, loose ball comes out, tries to spin it wide. to Bryant. Bryant sets the ball on the 22.
It's trapped in there, please. Red ball.
Beach took the ball into that tackle situation. Ball was frozen, so therefore the ball goes to the other team on the put-in on the scrum.
Wait!
The sun comes out onto the field.
What's your side?
Conditions are extremely good today. Yeoman, Hamilton. So Hamilton brings them out just outside the 22. It's a great crowd here today for the McCormick Cup. Everyone enjoying it in the sunshine. It's not too cold. It's very good, mild conditions.
It's usually a game played in rain, mud.
Snow. I've been here, Mike. It's been rather cold sometimes.
Some pretty cold days here.
Stay out the gap.
I think last year, the last 10 minutes of the game, we nearly lost our voices there with the cold. So throwing the back of the line out, tap down on the beach side. There was untidy ball by the number 8 Underwood for Beach. So Yeoman take advantage of it, puts the pressure on.
It's not moving. Get it out. Get it out.
The ball's there for Yeoman. Hamilton is held up in the tackle, just inside the halfway line.
High foot, high foot.
Go forward!
Yeoman keeping the ball short, Mike, and keeping it into the forwards, aren't they?
Get outside! Get outside!
They're spinning it wide. We could have a try here by number 11. Having a good run on the Yeoman side. Macaray, and we've got two Macarays in the side, Sean and Terry.
Touch the back.
That's the first time that York has let the ball out to their back since the first minute of the game.
Watch when he's not got it.
And that was when they penetrated through the defense of the Beach and swung it out, but didn't have the pace to outstretch Beach's defense.
I was just mentioning how they're keeping it into the forwards, but this is typical of Yeoman's play, isn't it? To take the advantage of their big forwards, wear the opposition
close
down.
To scrum.
Yeah. Advantage being played by Steele as Hamilton takes the ball. He's got very good support. Comes back into his forwards to set it again. But Petrucci kicks the ball forward. Advantage being applied. Penalty gone.
Down in the man, on the ball.
We got one.
At the crap, both of you.
Got one of the Yeoman player down injured. The physio comes on.
Play on.
So,
Play
it's
on.
a little scrum half Petrucci. Always recognised because he plays with his socks down past his ankles.
We can see
So
the
Wilson, a massive
scrums
kick.
and lineouts and penalties, and that York Yeomen have taken more penalties than Balmy Beach, although fairly close in this thing. I should say that York Yeomen used to be their name. They're now just the Yeomen. They have their own pitch. They used to play at the campus. They have their own grounds, their own clubhouse. A very independent club now from York.
Stop, please. Back man, blue, out.
21, red.
So scrums are pretty even there on that statistical account. So Beach to throw it, front of the line out. Looked like the bit of lifting in the line out.
Stay back.
Get down, get down, get down.
Move it. Away from the neck.
So
Away from the
Beach
neck.
trying to cement the ball here.
He's got to get out, sir.
This way. Stand up. No.
I wonder what that's all about, eh, Dave?
Putting the boot in. Penalty this way. Stop. Leave his leg go next then.
For the referee, it awarded the penalty to Balmy Beach, but
Cut the crap. Shut your mouths.
turned it around to the Yeoman. We've got just over 28 minutes gone in this half. And the score is still 3-0 to Balmy Beach, a penalty by Chip Wilson.
Brian side, eh?
Yeoman have had their chances, but two penalties, but have missed the chance. Of course, they're kicking into the wind, where Balmy Beach have got the advantage with it just blowing straight behind them. So Yeomen throws the ball up. Comes back on their side. It's held in the forwards.
Hey, Chip, I'm going to turn it around the next time, okay? Offside, round the side.
There's a lot of whistle in this game at the moment, Mike.
Well, there is, because of the close play into the scrum and the involvement of always 10, 15 players in each ruck or maul, there's somebody that's going to go offside or fall on the ball. And this kind of rugby generally causes a lot of penalties.
So Chip Wilson, the scrum half for Balmy Beach, again puts the ball into touch.
For those viewers who haven't seen rugby for a while, new law in the last couple of years is that the team that takes the penalty, that kicks for a touch, gets to throw the ball back in themselves.
Gap, please, all the way. Back man out, Blue. Stay out the gap.
So Mr. Pierce Higgins, the touch judge.
Blue.
Flag blowing fairly hard.
One of the things about this pitch, Lindsay, is because the wind blows across it, often the play is on the other side of the field for most of the game.
Nice tap down on the Yeomen side. Not doing much with it. Hamilton, defensive kick. Brings the Yeomen just out inside the Balmy Beach, just on the halfway line. So quite a good kick, considering with the wind being so strong.
Once it hits that, it's out. No quick ones off that.
So Beach again to throw the ball in. Front the line out.
Back.
And the interesting points, the Beach have only won 5 lineouts. 1 out of 5 lineouts.
Till that one, they won that one. They won that one.
Got it pretty
because
well.
The throw was pretty crooked to their favor.
Hanchio having a run for Yeomen, the fullback. So a reverse penalty, a bit of a disagreement there.
High tackle, turn around. Punch, ask him.
On that play,
first penalty, high tackles, turn around for the punch.
As the referee indicated, the first penalty was for a high tackle by Beach against the York player. Then Tom Gerber came in late. You'll see here that he'll get in. He'll get tackled straight up. You'll see that his ball is held up high, and the Beach player goes to wrestle the ball away from his head.
Give a tackle down.
Goes into the tackle.
I know.
Chris Buckley comes around. And then the player goes after the ball and takes his head as well. And that's where the penalty is called on that play there, as you can see. But on the succeeding play, Tom Gerber, who spent more time this year being banned from rugby than playing, was penalized for punching over the top.
He's had a few days holiday, I believe.
He's well rested, as somebody said.
So Chip Wilson in the middle of the paddock, just inside his halfway line.
Almost the exact same spot as his first kick.
Fairly long distance. Looks like it's got the distance. Up go the flags. So Chip Wilson, his second penalty of the game. So Balmy Beach, 6 points. All penalties by Chip Wilson over the Yeomen in this McCormick Cup final at Fletcher's Field. And 34 minutes are gone in this game at the moment. So Hamilton to recommence. Good high kick for his forwards to get under. May have been a bit further than he anticipated. Went out on the full, so they're going to come back for the scrum on the halfway line.
What's your choice?
This coming back for the scrum, and it's Balmy Beach ball by Chip Wilson. Will be putting this ball in for Balmy Beach, right on the halfway line.
Wait, the ball's away still. Closer, please, closer. Engage.
So Wilson feeds the scrum. Good ball, picked up by number 8 Underwood. Tries to spin it wide to their Campbell. Comes back in, titling was there McRae for the Beach. Again, it comes back on the Yeoman side. They're very good at getting this loose ball, but picked up by the centres, Hamza. But again, the penalty. Again, the penalty by Mr. Steele.
Number 2, going down.
So Hamilton puts the boot in, and he'll bring York up on the attack just outside the beach 22. I think the wind's got up a wee bit in the last few minutes, starting to really blow hard here.
Don't go in the garden unless you're going for the ball.
So Yeomen just crawling along just outside the 22 of Balmy Beach for this line out.
Watch your 15, boot.
From the middle line out, pulled down
Back.
on the Yeoman side. Pressure going in by Yeoman. Barici the scrum half to Hamilton. Hamilton runs across, links up with
Let's play on.
Switzer.
Play on.
Switzer lost the ball forward. So Wilson,
It's okay. So we're going to let go. Let go.
Ronovich, right foot, finds touch.
Two of the other games played today, Lindsay, were the Marshall Trophy final and Consolation final, which are for the junior clubs in Ontario. The final was won by Markham on the last kick of the game, 20-18, against the Wanderers.
Lock on. By 5, blue ball.
It's been some
Against
good games.
Against Brock Rugby Football Club.
It's been some good games of rugby out here this afternoon.
Wait, the ball's away. So still away.
So referee's
Okay.
blown for the scrum. So Beach on the attack inside the Yeoman half.
That's
Chip Wilson
okay.
asks for it to be held up at the back of the scrum by Underwood. Gets a long pass out. So in defence is McCormick. He decides to run it back at the beach.
No tackle.
Loose ball. Nobody wants it at the moment.
Take the first one here. Blue ball. Stay on your feet.
The whistle again, the scrum to go down.
Yeah. There's a watch us. Just wait to them.
Hello?
Thank you. Paul.
So Beach still on the attack, just outside the Yeoman 22.
Fezio.
And we've got an injury by one of the Yeoman players.
There's a little bump right in the middle of your nose. I think you got the burst. Yeah.
One,
Blue ball.
one of the interesting things, Mike, happening next year is the Australian Barbarians are coming over, and here's the stats at the moment. The scrums are 6 to the Balmy Beach, and the lineouts are they're coming back as reasonably even. The penalties are quite even, surprisingly.
It's up to you, Jim.
And next year, Australia Barbarians are going to tour Canada, and we've got 2 games here in Ontario. This will be David Campese's farewell tour. Of course, one of the great wingers of international rugby. So it'll be some exciting rugby in '95 here in Ontario. So Wilson to feed the scrum. So falling off is McRae for the Beach. And again, back on the Yeoman side, Hamilton swings around. Finds a good touch finder just on the halfway line, which will bring the Yeoman back down the field.
That was the first scrum taken against the head, where York pushed the Beach right off the ball. York has been picking the pressure up against the Beach pack.
27, 53, 19.
Fiorini puts the ball in, comes back on the Yeoman side, but Beach are contesting it. Buckley trying to get it back over. Hamilton, short ball in the end. So Yeoman trying to set the ball up on the attack just inside the Balmy Beach half. Cray coming around trying to grab the loose
There's nothing
ball,
for
but the
him.
whistle's gone.
The ball's just lying there. They can do what they like.
So you can see the Scottish referee, Mr. Steele, using some dry Scottish humor to tell the players to get on with it.
Don't worry about it.
Colin Wilson It's going to take a 60-meter kick for a goal, taking full advantage, or trying to take full advantage of a fairly brisk wind.
Is this within his distance, Mike? It's a fairly long kick.
Well, his last kick he put through and it went probably 25 meters past the goalpost, so I suspect that he'll come close if he strikes it properly. His biggest problem will be he'll try to hit it too hard, and like all of us golfers who do that, it ends up not going anywhere.
Normally goes about 5 yards, but this is going to take a mighty effort.
You know how heavy this stupid battery is for the camera, for the radio man? Can you get a lighter one next time? No. Yes.
It's over the 50-meter range. It's 3 meters inside the Balmy Beach half. Wilson relaxing before he kicks this ball. Chip Wilson around the corner, right foot. Doesn't quite have the distance. Oh, yes, it does. All right, it sneaks over the crossbar. My word, that looked like it was going to go under, but it was a good kick.
Little last-minute oop from the wind, Lindsay, to make you a little bit embarrassed.
Completely fooled me. Balmy Beach 9, Yeomen no score. So all penalties by Chip Wilson. There certainly is a benefit to have a good kicker in the side. So Hamilton to recommence play. And we're just on half time at the moment. We're in injury time. So Yeomen taking it the short side. Just out from the Balmy Beach 22. David still playing the advantage. You can see his hand up. He'll come back for the penalty for offside by Balmy Beach.
Number 8, about 4 yards offside. Pause, please.
So it's going to be a penalty by Yeomen. So, so they may put some points on the board now. This will be their opportunity, which is quite handy for them. We've got a Balmy Beach player injured at the moment. One of the things next year is the national final. That's the provincial finals. This year played out in BC is now going to be played here next year at Fletcher's. So that's the national final. So a lot of first-class rugby next year happening in Ontario.
Ontario, in fact, in the national final in BC this year, came very close to knocking off the BC, who have won it for the last 9 years in a row.
It was a very close score and a very good game.
37-30, BC full of Canadian internationals, Ontario playing with 2.
So you can see how strong that wind is. It just held the ball up, actually pushed it back. But here we go, Yeomen having a go in the short side. It was putting the pressure on the Beach now, just on their goal line. So here's the first opportunity for Yeomen to score. Setting the ball up. Beach just holding them out on the goal line at the moment. You can see the ball sitting there for Yeomen for the scrum half. He just flips it out to the fly half Hamilton, but it's penalty's gone for offside.
Scrum given. Penalty given, offside, Chum Trozen. Centre. 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
The outside center was offside. The ball didn't go anywhere close to him, but he was still in offside position. The referee felt that it denied a kick. The team that gets a penalty has an option for a scrum, and they've taken that option now. Doing a reverse
the short
play,
side to Barici,
nice
and
try.
he tosses it out to McCormick, and it's a good try on the left wing there by Sean McCormick for Yeomen. It was going to happen. A lot of pressure on the Beach in the last few minutes. And we'll have a look at this.
Here we have the number 8 who throws it back to the scrum half on the blind side, who feeds the wing, and there's only a wing from the Beach in defense as the Beach defenders got flat-footed.
So that was a good try by Sean McCormick. So Hamilton, round, good kick. It just goes to the left of the post. So Mr. Steele will blows for half-time. And at half-time, the Balmy Beach 9, Yeoman 5 by the try by Sean McRae, and of course penalties by Chip Wilson for Balmy Beach. And we'll be back to the McCormick Cup here at Fletcher's Field, Markham, in a few minutes.